your perspective, I mean, I can read the previews and stuff, but as the guy who's going to go in there and get going, what's your impressions of this fight as we lead up?
Well, thanks for having me on, first of all. And man, this is gonna be a fun, tough fight. This is a fight that the fans are gonna enjoy a lot, just because of the styles. Israel's a very elusive striker, and I'm just a boxer wrestler. I'm 5'9", he's 6'4", with an 80-inch reach, so I got a tough task ahead of me, man.
What are you most concerned about? Like, when you're training for this fight, what are you focusing on to make sure that that's not the thing that beats you, considering the fact that you've already told me, look, different styles, 6'4", 5'9". I mean, when you get him on the ground, you're not going to be worried about that, but to make sure that you get him in the position that you want to get him in.
Yeah, well, for the most part, we focus on myself and what I'm going to do in the fight. But obviously, we make little strategies. We pay attention to what he brings to the table, and we adjust around that. But for the most part, I focus on myself and what I'm going to do in the fight. Obviously, he brings some very specific set of skills. He's a great kickboxer, uses his range really well, very elusive. And so we're gonna have to go in there and just, man, get in there, get under him, and close that distance that he likes to use. He's a very long guy. He likes to use that long distance and keep his opponents at that distance. And so my job is to close that distance and get up under him.
All right, now if you look at the Vegas odds, he's the favorite. Is that fair in your mind, and what's your reaction to that?
Man, this has been the storybook of my career, man. I've been an underdog for most of my fights. Most people count me out before the fight even happens, and my job is to go in there and spoil the moment. For the most part, people count me out because of my height, because I'm such a small middleweight. People don't believe that I can accomplish these things, but I've risen through the rankings, fighting some of the best fighters in the world, fighting former champions, and I don't think Israel has fought the guys that I've fought. He hasn't been through that line of fire. He hasn't fought anybody in the top 5 of the rankings, and this is going to be a step up in competition for him. He's undefeated, very hyped up, but he hasn't fought the level of competition that I have, and this step up in competition, I feel like it's going to be a little overwhelming for him.
Do you think he's going to take you for granted?
Yes, I do. I think he is overlooking me. He feels like he's gonna steamroll through me. But if you look at my record, you look at my track record of the people that I've fought, nobody has ever steamed through me. Nobody has ever rolled through me, ever. And he's gonna have some problems.
All right. Now, I looked at your bio, and one thing that stood out to me that was interesting. It said strengths, right? And you would think, oh, wrestling, grappling, this or that. Yours said one word. The one word said heart. That's all it said. You're only said heart. Why is it? How do you define that? What do you mean? I mean, don't they all these guys have heart? Why is your heart bigger, stronger, more just fortuitous? Why is it that your strength compared to everybody else?
Well, I just feel like I want it more. You know what I mean? And that's what sets me apart from a lot of these guys. I'm not the most physically gifted guy. I'm not the biggest guy. I'm not the strongest guy or the fastest guy or the most technical guy. What sets me apart is my will to win and my heart.
Okay. When you are now right here 9 days away from fight day, what's it going to be like over these 9 days? Like, how do you train? How do you make sure that a week from Saturday you are at your peak? You don't peak too early. You don't peak too late. For those people who want to do this or are in training, what's it going to be like over these 9 days to make sure that you're your sharpest when you need to be?
Yeah, it's not. We're just going to focus on not doing too much. Now we're settling in and we're peaking our body and making sure we don't too much now. I don't want to burn myself out, but I still got to make sure I stay sharp for the fight. And next few days, this whole week that's coming up, I'm training regular. I'm training my regular schedule, but then the fight week, the following week, will be kind of more relaxed. I still train throughout the week, but I'm still, it's not the same.
Are you at weight right now, or do you still need to cut weight?
I'm pretty close to weight right now.
Okay.
I like to keep it like that these days,
Yeah.
close to the weight.
Now, I also noticed one other thing from the bio. You were a bail bondsman before you did this? Like, people are trying to run from you? Like, have you ever, I mean, what's the worst it ever got from some fugitive who thought he was dealing with Dog the Bounty Hunter and not a UFC champion?
Yeah, man. You know, I come from a small town, a small city, so for the most part,